All right, starting over. Did this whole thing, had the microphone muted. Anyway, start over. Putting this under strange happening because the strange happening happened in the court when the FBI was prosecuting my father. My father did win against the FBI. Lately, I've seen these things on the news talking about the FBI and different things that are happening. In a couple of comments on different YouTube videos, I mentioned a little bit about my dad's court case. People are like, that's impossible. That can never happen. Prove it. What's the case? What's the case ID number? I'm like, oh crap. I don't have the case ID number. I don't have that. I've got to find it. But prove it. Because it sounds impossible. It's like my whole life. Everything's impossible. All these stories that people think are stories is real. Everything, I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth about this. My dad did win against the United States government's FBI. People don't believe that from the start, just that one comment. But this video is going to be that story. The first part about my recent thing, trying to get that court ID. Very end, I will talk about the strange things that did happen in the courtroom, and they actually did happen. First, went to the local courthouse, state courthouse, didn't find anything because it's federal, of course. They referred me to the federal courthouse. Went to the federal courthouse. They could find no records of it. I'm like, wait a minute. This happened here in this building, in the federal courthouse building. In the clerk of courts, there are supposed to be records on file of everything that happens. They've put everything in. They did a search all the way back to 1977 for my dad's name. That's all I had was my dad's name. I didn't, at the time, have his lawyer, have the judge's name. I didn't even have a range of dates yet. They could find nothing. They're like, we need more information. I'm like, fine. So I went to my parents, and they could not find any of their own personal documentation. Both mom and dad looked in all their files, all the records. I went over another day, looked through all their house, looking for records of anything. None. Could not find anything at all. I'm like, great. I know we didn't imagine this. It's not at the courthouse. My parents don't have it. Maybe their lawyer does. Camille Gravel was from Alexandria, was their lawyer at the time. Camille died, but the files got turned over to his son. I believe it was Charles Gravel. Unfortunately, Charles Gravel died in November of 2021, last November. So not, a little less than a year ago. And his law office permanently closed, and those records are gone. So my parents have no records. The lawyers have no records. The federal courthouse has no records. It's like it doesn't exist and it never happened. I'm like, that is so weird. Okay, I'm not making it up. Talk to my family. They remember it happening because it ruined my dad's life, ruined all his friends' lives, the two friends that stuck with him through this. All the other friends abandoned him, but it ruined their lives too. So it's like, okay, something's going on. What did I do next? I know I went back to the state courthouse, and they managed to find the name of a judge that was here at the time. Because I did talk to my brother. He said he was on crutches at the time. He remembers it was in this 1 year time frame that he worked at Campbell's Soup. My brother worked there for 1 year. He goes, well, it happened when I was there. Somewhere between October of 90 and October of 91. It's in there somewhere because we couldn't remember. Even the year, none of us can remember. But it's so long ago. But it was somewhere in there. Okay, but so the local state courthouse was able to give me the judge's names. Donald Walter. Took it back to the federal courthouse. And they're like, yeah, Donald Walter was here. They looked under his case list of all the cases he tried. Was not in there. It was missing. So it's not only missing from my dad's name in the record, it's missing under the judge's itinerary. They went back to 84. This did happen in 1991. They went back to 84. It was not listed under the trials that the judge oversaw. Not even under the judge's name of the trials he presided over. It wasn't listed. It still didn't exist. They're like, well, the only thing you can do maybe is go to the library and look up old newspaper articles. So that's what I did. I went straight to the library, spent 4 to 5 hours there looking through microfilm. And finally, I started off in October of 1990. Finally, on September 4th, 1991, I found the first article. So this is September 4th, 1991, where it says RTC ex-SNL officer, that's savings and loan. He worked for People's Homestead Savings and Loan at the time. And the whole deal is the savings and loan industry, that banking industry, went bust, and they got a bailout from the government. Here's day 2. That was day 1 of the trial. That was in the newspaper. This is day 2. Ex-bank official innocent. That's the first article from September 5th, 1991 that I found. It continued on to the second part of the article under bank. So there it continued. So it did exist. It wasn't my imagination. It really happened. And funny, the newspaper article always said he's innocent. Talking to the federal court people, they're like, you're never innocent. Once you're charged, you're never innocent. You're just not guilty. You're never innocent again once you're charged. So that is their mindset. Not that you're innocent. If you ever get charged with anything, you're never innocent again. Never in history. You're just not guilty. I found that to be an interesting attitude, but I guess it's true from their standpoint. I don't know. I don't know anything about them. So I took copies of those 3 pages, gave them, went back to the federal court, Clerk of Court records. And by the way, the Clerk of Court people, they were super, super friendly. I did not expect that. Shoot, we could have sat down and had lunch or coffee or something, and it'd be totally fine. They were so super friendly, just willing to talk and chat and actually help. I didn't expect that. They were super, super friendly in that Clerk of Court office here. And I'll tell you where it's at. It's the Monroe, Louisiana, Ouachita Parish Federal Court building. Those Clerk of Court people, super, super friendly. Stunned me. I was just like, wow. It's just everyday people. Wonderful. Anyway, I took that and gave it to them, and they said, well, okay, well, it actually happened. We're going to have to do some research because it is not in our system. Now, that time, there was a supervisor of the records was there also. So both of them got in their system and looked and looked and looked, even into our lawyer's name, judge's name, dad's name, everywhere they could look, doesn't exist. There is no file on it. It doesn't exist. And they're like, we must have a file on it, whether it was, guilty, not guilty, expunged, everything. It would be in this file, and it's not here. So they're going to have to do some research. That was yesterday. They called today at 1:30 p.m. and said, we found something. We found the docket. It was in Shreveport. The main records had been moved to their Federal Record Center, FRC. So the main files are there. If I wanted a copy, I could contact, where's my note? If I wanted a copy, I could contact the Federal Record Center, and they gave me this information. Let me put it up here. This is who I can call, this phone number. There's the case number, and I'm showing this in case people actually want to pull up that case and get copies of it, which I am not doing because that'd be thousands and thousands of dollars. Here locally, it's $10 per page for like the court minutes and stuff like that. That could be hundreds of pages. I'm not paying thousands and thousands of dollars because I was sitting in the courtroom when it happened. If somebody else wants to pay that and see these records to prove what I'm saying is true, you can do it. I'm not going to do it. Anyway, they did give me the docket. Okay, so here is the actual docket. I am trying not to show the very next part of it because it's got my dad's address on it, and I don't want to put his home address on there because he still lives there. But there's the case number. Anyway, and here's the very last page that you might be interested. Not believing my dad won against the FBI. Here, that's not the last page. That was the second page. Here's the last page because there's 3 pages that they gave me. There it is. And if you can read that, it's got not guilty on there on all accounts. Yeah. Later, I guess the attorney or whoever pulled all the evidence stuff out and destroyed it. I guess that's normal after a period of time. Maybe they just have so much room. They can't keep it. So after so much time, they pull out the evidence and destroy it or something. So that's what they did. Or exhibits. Not evidence. Exhibits. Whatever exhibits is. Anyway, that was it. So it really did happen. My dad really did win on all counts against the United States government, FBI. There it is. Just proved it. There was a case number. Just proved that. In case anybody wants to know now for the strange happening part. What happened in court. This is day 2. Day 2 of the court proceedings, sitting in there. And as the prosecuting attorney is getting ready to present his evidence, and then one of the lawyers in the courtroom started having the appearance of a heart attack. You know me, weird things always happen around me and stuff like that. And there's just another weird thing that started happening is he started having the appearance of a heart attack. Disrupted the court pretty bad. They were about to call 911 when the symptoms vanished, completely cleared up. He was totally normal and fine. And the lawyer said, yeah, the court can continue. I'm fine. Let's just continue going. So they did. The prosecuting attorney closed out that section and they moved on and continued moving through the court case. Now, did you notice one thing that I said? He closed it out then and kept moving. He forgot to present any evidence that he may have had into the courtroom. Any exhibits, any evidence, anything like that, he did not present. Was not there. Presented nothing. Maybe it was just the lawyer having the appearance of a heart attack disrupted the court so bad that he forgot, or maybe he just had none. I mean, because there was none anyway. There really wasn't. Everything my dad had done in that banking industry, consolidating loans, everything you normally do through normal business, Dad was perfectly legal in everything he did. He didn't embezzle any money. You could just look in his bank account and see that anywhere. It's probably what he did, FBI did, and realized he ain't done anything, didn't do anything. Really? No, he didn't do anything. But this was real. And before this court case happened, I mean, we had to have serious family discussions because nobody wins against the FBI. Parents had to sit us kids down at one point, even have a family discussion of, Dad's probably going to lose. And if losing, they'll go after him for hundreds of thousands of dollars, what we don't have. We don't have that kind of money. And then they'll go after us kids to get the money off of us. We need jobs, take it out of our wages, whatever. They will do that. They will go after your children. So we had to have a family discussion how our parents would legally disown us. All their children, they would have to legally disown to try to protect us. That's the kind of family discussions you have to have when this happens. Because, yeah, the government will go after your children. That's not just my opinion. That's personal stuff that actually happened with us, things that we actually had to discuss. That kind of thing. So I'm telling you personal experiences, not other opinions I've seen on the news or anything. This was things that we actually had to discuss ourselves, personal experiences. But the phases continued. It finally came to closing arguments with the two attorneys. The prosecuting attorney got up there, and now I am paraphrasing. He did not say this the way I'm saying it. It was longer and drawn out and all this stuff, but he had no evidence to present, which our attorney pointed out. It's like he has presented no evidence. There are no laws broken, none. Everything was done within the legal system framework. Everything is above board and out in the open. Nothing was hidden, nothing at all. And the prosecuting attorney got up there and basically, here's me paraphrasing, cutting it down again, basically said, I'm with the FBI. No, basically, trust me, I'm with the FBI. That was the whole thing. I'm with the FBI, trust me. That was the whole thing. Really? The judge was furious. I remember the judge he didn't say that, the judge didn't, but the look on his face, the emotions I was getting, he was furious. That's the impression I got. Not that he said that, but the impression I got was that he was furious. And this probably isn't in the court documents now, so this is just us overhearing, but it was overheard him saying that it didn't matter that he won or lost. It didn't matter because he only needed one more case go to court in order to get his promotion. That sounds totally bogus, doesn't it? That's all he needed was a case go to court, one more case go to court to get his promotion. What? Years and years later, saw it on the media, it actually was in the mainstream media, that the FBI admitted back then, for a number of years, they did have a quota system, that their agents had to have so many cases go to court in order for promotions, to show that they were actually doing something. That was actually part of their job. They had a quota system, and my dad got caught up in their quota system. And that's true. Absolutely true. Now, I don't have documents showing quota system, but I bet the mainstream media does. It's probably out there on the internet somewhere if you want to do a search. I'm telling the truth. All this did happen. My dad did win against the United States FBI, and a strange thing did happen in the court. Now, just as an extra, just from my own personal point of view, I'm not a huge fan of the FBI. I just see that it's a lot of shadow and darkness in that organization. I think it needs to be, personally, my idea is completely defunded, disassembled, and disbanded, personally. And I was just sitting here a while ago thinking about something about light and truth. And a long time ago, y'all probably seen some of my videos talking about college days, getting into the Masonic Lodge, and a gentleman, national historian, who wanted me to go into that field of it, and I just kind of stepped away once I moved into my permanent career. I found one of his letters here, and even titled Louisiana Lodge of Research kind of thing. And one of the things really stuck with me from his letter in here was light is interchangeable with truth. I wish that, my hope is, if there are any good FBI agents out there, they'd let the light out, because that is an organization of shadow and darkness.